Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, officials oppose mass transit tax. Oxford Township Parks and Rec millage proposal is ahead. And Stony Lake Park hosts pop-ups in the park.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. The North Oakland Transportation Authority is asking voters to lend a helping hand when they go to the polls on Tuesday, August 7th, by voting for their millage renewal proposal. NOTA provides rides for those living in Oxford, Addison, and Orion townships who are unable to drive themselves. The North Oakland Transportation Authority has millage renewal request on the ballot in all three townships. In Oxford, the amount request is 0.240 mills to be levied from 2019 to 2023. Addison voters are being asked to approve a 0.24 mills and for 5 years from 2020 through 2024. And in Orion, voters are looking at a 0.24 mills, and it would be levied from 2019 through 2023. Look for further explanation of the millage request on an upcoming interview with our own Rachel Baker and NOTA Director Lynn Gustafson.
A millage request to continue funding the Oxford Township Parks and Rec Department is headed for the ballot in November. Last week, the Township Board voted 7-0 to move forward with placing a 15-year 1 mill request on the ballot. 1 mill equals $1 for every 1,000 of property taxable value.
Voters in Addison Township are being asked to support a millage proposal on the August 7th primary ballot to continue funding police services which are provided by the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. The township is seeking a nearly 4-year, 3.5 mil police protection tax. If approved, it would be effective through 2021 and generate an estimated nearly $1.2 million in its first year. Addison currently has no police millage in place due to funding decreases because of the Hidley Amendment. The last amount levied was 3.4 mills. Voters are being asked to renew the tax and increase it by 0.08 mills in order to get it back to the original amount approved in August of 2014.
A 40-year-old law in Oxford Township prohibits the door-to-door sales of goods and services. That law could change, which would allow salespersons in the township as long as they file with the local government and follow a strict set of rules. The proposed amended ordinance made its way through the first reading last week when the Township Board voted 6-1 to schedule a second reading, and possible adoption may take place in the next meeting on Wednesday, August 8th.
Stony Lake Park hosted the Oxford Township's Parks and Recreation Department's second pop-up in the park event on July 12th. Kids were given fishing rods and reels as well as plastic buckets and shovels. They fished from the dock along the shore and built sand castles on the beach. 2 more mystery pop-up events are scheduled to happen at Oxford Parks this month. To learn more, please visit oxparkrec.org.
Oxford Township added its voice to the growing chorus of communities saying they do not wish to help fund the creation of the regional mass transit system. The general consensus is that our NOTA is currently providing reduced fare rides to residents, and the regional transit system would not overlap with NOTA routes. Last week, the Township Board voted 7-0 to approve a resolution opposing the RTA proposal. The Regional Transit Authority is requesting a 20-year, 1.5 mil property tax from voters in Oakland, Macomb, Wayne, and Washtenaw counties. The tax would fund the development and operation of the RTA under a plan called Connect Southeast Michigan. If approved, the new property tax would generate approximately $5.4 billion over 2 decades.
You folks living in mobile homes and condos in Oxford Township will pay more for your water bill and sewer bills next year. A new residential equivalent unit, REU factor, puts their rate equal to single-family home. In a 7-0 vote, the Township Board voted to adopt an updated REU factor schedule. It takes effect January 1st, 2019. Mobile homes are increasing from 0.85 to 1 REU per unit, and condos, both attached and detached, are being bumped up from 0.6, 1 REU per unit.
Oxford Village officials have decided to seek voter approval to sell a small vacant piece of village property located in the municipality's northwest side. Last week, Council voted 3-2 to place a question on the November ballot concerning the half-acre parcel near the Pollyant Trail. Voting for the motion were Joe Frost, Eric Dolan, and Dave Bailey. Voting against the motion were Village President Sue Bassardet and Maureen Helmuth. The property is currently zoned for single-family residential use. Well, how about that? They're finally going to try to sell that again. I think when I was on the council, they were trying to sell it then. But let's talk about those millages. All of a sudden, they're popping up all over the place.
All over.
And they're just renewals.
They are renewals.
Most of them.
I would say the Parks and Recreation is looking for a small increase, but
Right.
very small. They've never expensed over $1 million, ever.
Wow, that's
So,
pretty good for
it
everything
is.
they've done.
I mean, it is an amazing
Yeah,
feat
good
that
for you
they've
guys.
accomplished. Yep.
Yeah.
The other
And
thing
then
is
the
NODA.
one. Yeah, I'm always really worried about that. NODA is such a amazing service to this community. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for
They're
the
doing a
NODA
great
renewal.
job, and I
Yeah.
think they can't really provide 110%, but they do
Right.
provide, trying to get 100%.
Yeah.
Where
Out
people
for the people.
will be picked up and go to where they
Right.
need to go a certain timely fashion.
And I will say that, and you know this, the NODA board is really responsible with their funding, and so is Lynn Gustafson, the director. She's amazing. She's an accountant by trade, and so she's an amazing person with the funds and with gaining grants. So let's keep that thing going.
I think we're very fortunate to have these leaders, in our
Yeah.
community. Very well done.
I agree with you. Well, that's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us on our website at OCCTV.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular channels, Spectrum, Channel 191, and AT&T Channel 99.
Coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with the Sports Report, and you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Do you love your community? So do we. Tune in our community access Monday through Friday, 9:30 and 1, and again at 7, Saturday at 9:30 and again at 7:30, and Sunday at 7. From new businesses to special events and everything in between, join the station that cares about our community.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, bandages made from spider silk could help heal wounds or even replace damaged skin. Around 6.5 million people in the U.S. have chronic wounds due to diabetic ulcers and pressure sores. Treating them costs $25 billion a year, so the hunt is on for low-cost treatments as well as new materials for skin grafts. The challenge is to create dressings that promote skin renewal, but avoid the risk of infection or immune response. Spider silk is a good option, as its elasticity matches that of skin, and it's made from a protein, a main component around skin cells. Spider silk protein can be made by genetically engineered E. coli bacteria. A key advantage of this method is that chemicals found in the human body that promote cell growth can be genetically engineered onto the silk protein along with antimicrobial proteins. However, this engineered silk is costly, so Mee Headhammer at the KTH Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm and her team put a thin layer of another type of silk derived from the cocoons of silkworms. They used this combined material to make a mat for dressing wounds and a sponge for use as artificial skin. The researchers grew human skin cells on the dressing to test it. They found the cells produced a layered tissue similar to human skin and that the antimicrobials prevented the growth of bacteria. The material allows cells to grow in a way that looks like real skin, says Headhammer. Next, the team plans to test the silk skin on animals, and good luck. And still on the medical front, high blood pressure in later life is associated with Alzheimer's disease, according to a study of people around the age of 80. A team at Chicago's Rush University Medical Center tracked the blood pressure of more than 1,200 participants for an average of 8 years before death. Autopsies then sought signs of Alzheimer's disease, including plaques of amyloid protein between brain cells and tangles of tau protein inside them. People with high blood pressure, the moment the heart pumps, had a larger number of tangles but not plaques in the brain. There is a long-standing debate about the relationship between blood pressure and Alzheimer's. One hypothesis is that blood pressure changes could impair the delivery of nutrients and the clearance of toxic waste products from the brain. And in our last story, barnacle geese are radically changing their migration patterns as a result of the warming climate. Spring in the Arctic is starting earlier and earlier because of rising temperatures, and barnacle geese are speeding up their annual trip in a rush for breeding spots with devastating consequences for newly hatched goose chicks. In the spring, barnacle geese migrate 3,000 kilometers from the North Sea to their breeding grounds in the Russian Arctic, stopping along the way for food and rest at sites along the Baltic Sea. But scientists now say the geese are skipping these rest stops to reach the Arctic's increasingly early spring, arriving at their destination up to almost 2 weeks ahead of schedule. This rapid, nonstop migration came as a surprise, says Bart Nolet of the Netherlands Institute of Ecology. We used to think that geese would not be capable of making this journey without stopovers to refuel, he says. But an early arrival has its own problems. The geese are exhausted and need time to replenish their energies before laying eggs. They traditionally sync the hatching of their chicks with peak food quality, but the early arrival is causing heightened struggle for food. Under these conditions, the baby geese chicks are finding it more difficult to become strong enough to survive the treacherous trip back. The scientists say that the geese can avoid this problem not by simply speeding up their journey, but by setting off for the Arctic earlier. This would involve injecting some flexibility into their usually rigid departure times. More than 5% of the population have given up on migration altogether, preferring to breed in their wintering grounds, says Nolet. And this percentage is fast increasing. But it's risky, says Stuart Bearhop of the University of Exeter. It's thought that the geese make this trek because of the high energy payoff, and a loss of feathers after molting around the breeding season renders them flightless and vulnerable to predators, he says. But it might turn out, that is, that migration is no longer worth the hassle. By comparing migratory and non-migratory geese, we are currently studying the energetic costs and benefits of migration itself, says Nolet. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
What's going on, Oxford fans? Cody Wright back here with this week's sports report. We had a good week at Seymour Lake Park and caught some good interviews, so let's dive in and check it out. Well, as we've talked about a lot so far this summer, the senior softball guys have been keeping busy, and we've been doing our best to make our way out to the park Monday mornings to cover their games. Last week we had yet to see them take the win. We were 0 for 3, and this week that came to an end. The guys were winning the games, though, this year. It was just the games that we came to cover that they didn't pull off. This week we took on Clarkston, who we are tied for first place with, and we absolutely crumbled them. To be fair, though, they did suffer a few injuries, and they were missing a few of their hitters and base runners, which we found out with an interview with a couple of the Clarkston guys after the game. These guys are great sports, and we always have a great time when they come out and play our guys. So here is the interview.
Hey, we're here with the boys. I know it was a loss, but I'll tell you, when you lose your number 1, 2, 3, and 4 hitters to all different things, I mean, it's tough.
That's true. We're using some key players here, Sam and Rick and that, but we stepped up all the time. I think at this point in the season, we're one game back, and I think we're playing good as a team, and we're going to be in there towards the end.
Yeah, you gave us a heart attack when you slid into third. Here we got nobody on the bench, and Newmanowski sliding into third.
Well, it's kind of my norm. That's why I have these holes in my pants, and I don't wear shorts. So I still have that kid in me, I think. So. Yeah.
Wendell, you're one of the boys now, man. It's been a whole year, right?
Yeah, it's going on a whole year. It's been fun. We're losing a couple of players. One had heart surgery.
Yeah,
So, we all
Gary Trenzy.
Yeah, we're all praying for him. But, we're out here having fun, I hit a line shot back to the pitcher. I didn't want to run because I thought he was hurt. I thought I hit him in the face. But, it's all a part of enjoying yourself, playing the game, and not getting injury.
Yeah, I know. When Jensen got hurt out there, it's like, pick up the ball, pick up the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Larry's okay.
I have to pick the ball up.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
We'll come back and we'll give it a good game next Wednesday and then next Monday. So, we'll be back.
Well, I was talking to Paul. We were talking, the high school team plays about 20 games this season. You guys play 30.
Mm-hmm. And there's a difference of 50 years in age.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed that keeps a team in the game is you just can't give up. You can't submit to your age. You can't submit to the heat. All of these factors apply to both teams. So to use that as an excuse is pretty flimsy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that as Newmanowski slides into third. Yeah, hey, John.
The heat.
It was the heat. Okay, John, come on in here. Here's the skipper.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you, it was tough. It seems like every game we covered, I think we covered one win.
Well, maybe two.
I got to thinking that maybe we're the reason.
No.
We bad luck?
Actually, we played a very good game today, and we're missing 5 starters today.
Yeah.
So I thought we played very well, and we held them down. And I think what the best thing is all our attitudes were positive today.
Yeah.
Nobody gave up at any point in time.
Yeah.
So that's the key of the thing. Nobody gives up any point in time. So.
And people are playing different positions and all that.
Yeah. So, but we had fun. So we appreciate you coming here and
Get this guy back again, okay?
Oh, yeah.
back where?
Yeah.
Back next?
Back on the team, yeah.
Oh, he's already signed up for 5 years.
You under contract? You're under contract?
Get the money. Bring the money on. Bring the money.
Contracts?
There you go. There you go. We're good.
For long term.
You signed him at the 24th Street, didn't they?
There you go. That's right. That's where we're headed now. Have a couple. Have a good lunch. Yeah.
Without a doubt, our most favorite team to cover this year. I'll tell you, we do a lot of great teams, but we know you guys, and it's great every year.
And we appreciate you coming out. So thanks for coming out.
Good seeing you guys.
We'll have you as long as you have us. Yeah.
All right.
Well, good luck. Stay healthy. Okay. Good luck, and get Clarkston next time. Mr. X, good game for Clarkston.
His name is Gary the Dagger.
Gary the Dagger, huh? Mr. X, the head of Clarkston Auto Body. So thanks, and it's appropriate that it's Health Quest is our sponsor because we need them.
Especially after 30 games.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Not a bad win if you ask me. It doesn't get much better than that. A 13-run gap win in baseball, but let's not forget we still have to defend that number 1 spot, and we have some competitive games ahead of us, including 2 more against these guys. Let's now switch gears to the U10 girls softball team who took on Troy at Seymour Lake Park this last week. Like Rod and Bill said, these girls are really well coached, and that says a lot when it comes to these summer rec leagues, which are good for skill development, learning the game, and having fun. This was a good day, and the girls took the win, but in the end, the teams both took away experience from it all, and at this age, that's what really matters. They're all having a good time, and you can see that from this next interview we're going to show you. Here's the U10 Oxford girls softball team.
All right, there we go. All right, here we got the Wildcats. We're going to do... What's that? Oh, the coach went by. He just ran by. He doesn't want the interview. We'll do the names real quick. Let's go.
Campbell, Tessa, Caitlin, Jade, Amaya, Morgan, Gemma, Peyton, Raylan.
Okay, so good season so far this year, huh? We're covering you next week, too.
No way.
Yeah, we're coming back next week, too. Who's the big hitters today? I think you were. Nice looking hit. Yeah. Now, who was the catcher that threw the ball right on second base? Who was that? Good job. That was the best thrown ball I've seen to second base from a catcher this year. Any team.
Really?
Yeah, really. really? Oh, really? Oh, really? Anyways, girls, you're playing really well. Coach has got you running and hitting, and good job, Caitlin, coming out into the pitch. You do a good job. So, anyways, I want to thank you, girls, and we'll be here next week, okay? You're going to win?
Okay. Yeah.
Do we have any games until then? Tournament?
Tournament this weekend.
Where at?
Berkeley. Yep.
Oh, okay. Good A&W there, so, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the old stuff. You're already going. Anyways, we want to thank everybody for watching.
And that's going to wrap up this week's report. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to all tune in next time for more summer sports action. Don't forget you can catch the whole coverage of these games and more on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. That is OCCTV.org. Plenty of past and present programs, shows, and events all right there for you to find. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to tune in next week. Until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company's upcoming 2019 Edge ST, the automaker's first crossover to carry a performance package, will cost about $1,500 more than the outgoing sport trim Edge it replaced. The midsize crossover on sale this summer will start at $43,350, including shipping, and will top out at $52,000. The ST includes an optional brake package that costs $2,695 and comes with 18-inch disc brakes and 21-inch black aluminum wheels. The brake package is part of a larger equipment group that costs an additional $5,585 and includes Ford's newly branded Co-Pilot 360 collection of driver-assisted features, heated and cooled seats, and hands-free liftgate. The Edge ST will be powered by a specially tuned 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 engine that Ford said is the most powerful in the segment, generating 335 horsepower and 380 pounds-feet of torque. While it competes in a midsize crossover segment with vehicles such as Subaru Outback and Honda Pilot, Ford is targeting performance-oriented luxury vehicles from Jaguar, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche, noting the Edge ST costs less and delivers similar, if not greater, performance numbers. The vehicle also has a black mesh grille, specifically tuned suspension, standard all-wheel drive, special badging, and performance seats. The Edge ST is part of a freshening that includes slight cosmetic changes to the base model Edge. It comes standard with a 2-liter EcoBoost engine paired with a new 8-speed transmission that gets 250 horsepower, 5 more than the current model, and 275 pounds-feet of torque. And in Detroit, the groundbreaking for the Gordie Howe International Bridge took place the morning of July 17th, signaling the beginning of an extensive construction project that will ultimately affect trade for a number of multinational industry partners, particularly automakers. Once construction is complete, the bridge is expected to have serious implications for North American-Canadian trade, as the Windsor-Detroit Trade Corridor is the busiest commercial land border crossing, according to the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, the federal corporation overseeing its construction. Overall, more than 25% of goods traded between the two countries moves across the nearly 90-year-old privately owned Ambassador Bridge. The project's groundbreaking was celebrated in the Delray neighborhood of Detroit after years of legal battles and uncertainty that the project would ever get off the ground. Parts of Delray have been dismantled and parcels of land cleared for the bridge's stateside international port of entry. A similar groundbreaking is planned for the fall in Windsor, where the Canadian government has spent millions of dollars reworking roadways to connect with its future port of entry. Governor Rick Snyder and Canada's infrastructure minister Amarjeet Sohi attended the event. While prep work has been going on both sides, July 17th event marks the next step for the project, according to a media advisory. The bridge is expected to cost nearly $4 billion and construction to be complete by 2022 or 2023. If all goes according to plan, the landmark project will result in the largest cable-stayed bridge in North America, with towers rivaling the height of Detroit's Renaissance Center. A consortium of primarily Canadian companies was selected earlier this month to build the bridge, which will be financed and operated through a Canadian public-private partnership. Canada will own half the bridge, and the U.S. will own the other half. And on the recall front, Ford Motor Company on July 18th recalled nearly 550,000 2013 F-16 Fusion sedans and 2013 to 14 Escape crossovers for a potential rollaway risk because of faulty shifter cable bushings. The automaker said the affected vehicles have bushings that could detach from the transmission, which could allow the transmission to be in a different gear from what the driver sees on the shifter. That could lead to the vehicle moving even when the driver thinks it's in park. Ford said it's unaware of any accidents or injuries related to the defect and encouraged owners to use the parking brake until the vehicle is fixed. Here are the details on the affected vehicles. 2014 Fusions built at Flat Rock Assembly between June 18th and September 15th of 2013. 2014 to 16 Fusions built at the Flat Rock between June 2nd and 2014 and August 31st of 2015. 2013 to 2014 Fusions built at Hermosillo Stamping and Assembly between May 15th and September 15th of 2013, and 2014 to 2016 Fusions built at the Hermosillo plant between June 2nd, 2014 and August 31st, 2015. Also 2013 to 14 Escapes built at the Louisville Assembly between May 15th and 2013 and September 15th of 2013. Additionally, Ford recalled 162 2018 F-53 stripped chassis vehicles that had front wheel studs that were not properly heat treated. They were built at the Detroit chassis plant from June 13th to 22nd of this year. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.